Every golfer I talk to, doesn't matter their handicap, they all want the same thing, more distance off the tee.
Oh, absolutely. That feeling, hitting it pure, watching it fly past your buddies, it's addictive.
It really is. But it's not magic, is it? Our sources dig deep into this, and it's all about, well, biomechanics and physics. Okay, let's unpack this.
Exactly. And that's what we're diving into. It's not about one secret tip or trick. The research is clear. Gaining distance is about putting together the right technique, understanding a bit of the physics, and crucially, how your body moves efficiently.
You can't really cheat physics, can you?
Not really, no, but you can learn to work with it, harness it.
Right. So our mission here is to give you that shortcut. We're looking at this from two angles. First, the results, what actually makes the ball fly far, those impact factors.
The measurable stuff.
And second, the engine room, you could say. The biomechanics, how you actually create that speed. And some of this might be a bit counterintuitive. Okay, let's start with the outcomes. The stuff you see on launch monitors. Launch angle, spin. But before any of that, there's something more fundamental.
Absolutely. Quality of contact. It's like the gatekeeper.
Right.
You could swing at 120 miles per hour, but if you catch it just slightly off the toe, or maybe the heel, boom, energy transfer plummets.
How much are we talking? What do the sources say?
Well, the data suggests even a minor miss it can cost you easily up to 20 yards of carry. Just gone.
Wow, 20 yards. So hitting the middle is non-negotiable.
Pretty much. Assuming you've got that centered strike dialed in, then we can talk about the main power source.
Clubhead speed, the raw horsepower.
That's the one. And what's great here is how direct the relationship is. For every extra mile per hour of clubhead speed you generate, you're looking at roughly maybe 2.5 to 3 extra yards of carry distance.
So simple, yet so hard to achieve sometimes.
Well, yeah. That's why understanding how to generate that speed biomechanically is so critical. It's where you get the most bang for your buck, distance-wise.
But, okay, speed is great, but if the ball just balloons up or dives down, it's wasted speed.
Right.
Launching it properly is key, especially with the driver.
It really is. And this often trips people up. We need to talk about attack angle.
Hitting up or down on the ball.
Exactly. With your irons, you're generally hitting down, compressing the ball. But with the driver, hitting down is a distance killer, creates way too much spin.
So you need to hit up on it.
Correct. The ideal attack angle for a driver is actually upward, somewhere in the range of, say, +2 degrees to +5 degrees, hitting up on the ball.
And why is hitting up so important? What does that do?
That upward strike is what helps you kill that excessive backspin, and it optimizes the launch angle. Basically, hitting up presents the loft on the club face, what we call dynamic loft, in a way that sends the ball high and far with less spin.
Okay, hitting up makes sense. But for a lot of golfers, trying to hit up leads to topping it or hitting it thin, scooping.
Yeah, that's a common issue. You can't just try to lift it with your hands. It comes down to body position at impact.
Like what?
One of the absolute keys is maintaining the right body tilt away from the target at impact. It's called side bend.
Ah, okay. That tilt you see the pros have.
Exactly. Their spine is tilted away from the target. That tilt does a couple of things. It helps shallow out the club path, letting it come from the inside.
Crucial for avoiding slices.
Right. And it allows the club head to naturally catch the ball slightly on the upswing. Without that proper side bend, you're almost forced into that scooping motion with your hands and arms.
Got it. So side bend helps you achieve the upward attack angle, which then gives you the right dynamic loft and lowers the spin. It's all connected, isn't it?
It's a chain reaction. One piece enables the next.
All right, so we know what we need at impact. Speed, centered contact, hitting up on it. Now, the big question. How do we actually generate that speed? It's not just brute force, is it? Here's where it gets really interesting.
It really does. Because the power doesn't start with your arms or shoulders like many people think. It starts from the ground.
Ground reaction forces, GRFs. Sounds techno.
It is, but the concept is simple. It's basically Newton's third law in action. For every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction.
Okay. How does that apply to a golf swing? I'm not jumping off the ground. Well, not intentionally.
No. Think of it more like applying pressure. If you push down into the ground pushes back up at you. The harder you push down, the harder it pushes back.
Like that example in the source, if you push with 4 kilograms of force, you get 4 kilograms back. Push with 8 kilograms, get 8 kilograms back, scalable force.
Exactly. But think vertical force or pressure. If you just lightly stand there, not much pushback. But if you actively, almost forcefully, push down into the ground during that transition from backswing to downswing,
The ground gives you a bigger push back up.
a much bigger push. And that upward force is free energy. Great players are masters at using the ground. They push harder, and they time it perfectly to channel that energy up through their body, their legs, hips, torso, arms, and finally into the club.
They're using the ground like a springboard, almost.
In a way, yeah. It's their primary power lever.
Okay, so power starts low.
Yeah.
But the sequence of how you move from the top,
Yeah.
that's critical too. And there's a common mistake people made right at the start of the downswing.
Oh, yeah. This is maybe the most counterintuitive part for many golfers. The very first move down should not be rotation. It's not spinning the hips open immediately.
Riley, what is it then?
It's a subtle but powerful lateral shift, a shift of pressure towards the target. Moving on to your lead side.
Shifting sideways before turning? Why? What does that do?
If you just spin your hips open right away, you often throw the club over the top, lose your angles, lose power. That initial lateral shift does something crucial. As you shift towards the target, your hips actually stay closed, or maybe just slightly delayed, for a fraction of a second. This loads pressure onto your lead foot and creates separation, a stretch, between your lower body, which is shifting, and your upper body, which is still coiled.
Like stretching a rubber band.
Exactly. You're building up tension, storing elastic energy. Then, when the rotation kicks in, it has all that stored energy to unleash. Without the shift first, you lose that stretch potential.
So shift first to load and stretch, then rotate powerfully. That sequence is vital for using those ground forces properly.
Absolutely critical. And that leads us right into the kinematic sequence.
The famous whip analogy.
That's the one. It describes the ideal order and timing of how different body parts speed up and slow down to transfer energy. It has to happen in a specific chain.
Okay, lay out the chain for us.
It starts with the biggest, slowest segments and moves to the fastest. So, hips initiate, then the torso picks up speed, then the lead arm, and finally the club itself is the last part to accelerate.
Hips, torso, arm, club. In that order.
Yes. But here's the really fascinating part, the bit that makes the whip crack. It's not just about accelerating each part.
What else is there?
Deceleration. Each segment, hips, torso, arm, has to accelerate, reach its peak speed, and then actively slow down.
Slow down. Why would you want to slow down?
To pass the energy along. Think about cracking that whip. The handle stops abruptly, right? That's what transfers the energy down the line, making the tip go supersonic. In the swing, the hips peak and then decelerate, transferring their energy to the torso. The torso peaks and decelerates, passing it to the arms. The arms peak and decelerate, slingshotting the club through.
Wow. So my hips just keep spinning as fast as they can through impact.
They're actually holding on to the energy. They're not transferring it efficiently up the chain to the club. You're leaking power.
The sequence and the timing of deceleration are key. Breaking that chain anywhere means lost speed.
Precisely. If you start with the arms, or if a segment doesn't decelerate properly, that energy just dissipates. It never makes it to the club head where it counts. It's like an energy multiplier, but only if the timing is perfect.
Okay, and tying this all together for delivering that speed, we need to come back to a couple of things we mentioned earlier.
We do. That side bend we talked about.
Yeah.
Maintaining that body tilt away from the target.
That helps keep the club coming from the inside and hitting slightly up.
Correct. It supports the attack angle and path we need for the driver. And the final piece, the real speed multiplier right at the ball.
Gotta be the wrists. Lag.
Releasing those wrist angles too early, what golfers call casting or scooping, is maybe the biggest speed killer for amateurs.
You see it all the time.
Yeah.
Throwing the speed away before the ball.
Exactly. You want to maintain that angle, that lag, as late as possible in the downswing. It ensures all the speed generated by your body sequence gets delivered right at the golf ball, not inches behind it. Maximum force at the moment of truth. Okay, so we've covered a lot. Impact factors like attack angle, ground forces, the kinematic sequence, deceleration. It's complex.
It definitely is.
Yeah.
But if you had to boil it all down, based on the research, what's the single most important move or concept that ties this all together for creating speed? What's the biggest difference maker?
The single most important thing, I'd say it's that transition move we discussed, that dynamic sequence of events.
The shift and turn.
Yes, specifically. That strong, athletic lateral shift into the ground towards the target, which loads everything up, immediately followed by the explosive but crucially timed rotation of the hips and torso firing through.
It's the combination and the sequence.
It is. The shift engages the ground forces, gets that pushback. The rotation then unleashes all that stored energy through the correctly sequenced kinematic chain. One enables the other.
So feeling the ground, feeling that pressure shift, that seems like the starting point.
Absolutely. The sources put it pretty simply and memorably. Push into the ground shift, then rotate.
I like that. Push, shift, rotate.
And the key idea, speed starts from the ground, not the hands.
Fantastic summary.
Hmm.
Okay, so what does this all mean? Let's wrap up with the key takeaways. If someone listening wants more distance, what are the, say, 3 fundamental principles they must master based on everything we've discussed?
All right, 3 pillars for distance first.
Number 1, you got to use the ground. Learn to push down harder, more effectively to get that vertical force working for you.
Yep. Number 2, get the transition sequence right. Initiate the downswing with that lateral shift towards the target before you unleash the rotation. Shift, then rotate.
Shift before rotate. Got it. And number 3.
Master the kinematic sequence, that whip effect. Ensure the energy flows correctly. Hips, torso, arms, club, with each segment transferring energy efficiently through proper timing and deceleration.
Use the ground, shift, then rotate, and sequence it like a whip.
Master those, and you're not just swinging harder, you're swinging smarter, more efficiently. And usually that means more consistently, too. You move from just muscling it to applying physics intelligently.
From raw effort to kinetic power. Love it. Now, before we wrap up, let's leave our listeners with something to chew on. A provocative thought based on this idea of energy transfer.
Okay, so we established that for that whip effect to work, each major segment, hips, torso, arms, needs to accelerate, reach peak speed, and then actively decelerate to pass the energy on.
Right. The slowing down is key for the transfer.
So here's the thought. If you consciously focus not just on rotating your hips fast, but on feeling them reach their peak speed and then deliberately decelerate right around impact, how does focusing on slowing down the bigger muscles actually change your perception and your ability to accelerate the smaller, faster parts, the arms and the club, through the ball?
Focusing on the brake to speed up the end of the whip. That completely flips the usual swing faster thought, doesn't it? Something to definitely experiment with.
It might just change how you feel speed delivery.
Brilliant stuff. Thanks for breaking down the science of speed. We really encourage you listening to explore these ideas. Get out there and start feeling that power coming up from the ground.